a committee.
Okay, and you as the HR expert. In fact, I'm even giving you a lot of grace calling you an HR expert. Already, you know, we've already known that you're not qualified as such. A casual worker. Who is a casual worker? And you've already produced a list of 243, you said?
Chair, I'm aware of a person that his name was nicked, but was disqualified in the field, and it is in the list of recruitment, denying some of the people who ran and got good positions, and out of interest, or I don't know, the name of the person that was not even in the race. He disqualified himself and was put in. So we want to see that list. And I'm happy that whoever sneaked the name should take the responsibility.
Replacement of workers, why is it taking long? And who is responsible?
Procedurally, one of the things that is becoming very challenging is costs to do with replacement. Because as people retire...
No, One director. When today a doctor retires, yes, that budget line remains. Yes. Is it not true?
Yes.
No, why are you telling us budget constraints?
No, I'm talking about the cost of recruitment is too expensive. I know that is the challenges we have had with money. Because if one person retires, you can't advertise one person. So we normally, what we had agreed is that every 3 months, we will consolidate a list of those who are retired. And then...
Has it happened?
Yes. In fact, we recruited the first group of replacement. We recruited in, because I have data, we recruited last year, I think September. Even health, we recruited 57, and we have recruited 43. And currently, we have advertised, I think, 70-something. That is awaiting shortlisting.
Honorable Sharon.
And let me explain. We have not actually only field replacement until...
just a minute, yes, as you answer that question. That issue of replacement, does that include the subordinate staff, the cleaners and all? Like, for example, I'm aware in Marigat, we have since lost about more than 10 cleaners, watchmen who are no longer working, and the rest of those people working there are casuals. Are those still part of those people that you've consolidated and you want to employ?
Let me explain to you what I do. When people retire or exit through whichever method, self-attrition, every 3 months, I consolidate a list of people who have retired and the amount of money they have left behind.
Have you consolidated for the one in Marigat?
No, let me explain now. And then I take it to the chief officer and say, based on this retirement, available funds is this. Bring your priorities. So they will decide whether they want to replace that person or in their priorities, what is a priority to them. But following that complaint, I know the governor has instructed us now, we will be replacing individual for an individual to the tune of the amount of money that the person has left. So for casuals, we have never done, and I'm hoping that now, going forward, we will.
Sorry, you know, I'm actually having a headache regarding this issue of casual workers. You've already stated that it's a systemic problem.
Yes.
Do you know, in fact, I don't agree. Okay, you've been here since 2021. You as the director of HR, what have you done about this thing? Are you part of the problem?
No.
Why?
Because when we came, Treasury gave us instruction that when you do budget, do not budget for anybody exiting service. And I'm told the instruction came from a committee.
Okay, and you as the HR expert. In fact, I'm even giving you a lot of grace calling you an HR expert. Already, you know, we've already known that you're not qualified as such. A casual worker. Who is a casual worker? And you've already produced a list of 243, you said?
140.
Casual workers who are not even casual workers, they're employees. They should actually be falling under you. people that you already know, these are employees. Have you done an advisory as the HR director that these people that we have, can we sort out the problem? Can we sort out the problem? These are not casuals anymore. I've seen people working since the year 2007. Let us sort out the problem. Have you done that? Yes or no?
Yes,
Through a letter or what?
through Chirac. And I hope I can get the minutes for Chirac.
Please get the minutes from GIRAC.
Yes.
Also, another question I want to ask you so that I settle that issue of casual workers. So you want to say that there's no one who is to be blamed for this problem. It's a systemic problem. Are you still remaining with that position?
Yes, because I say it's a systemic issue, because it is something that we found. Nobody gave direction until the other day when we had a meeting with the current governor and say now replace people. Initially it was do a budget. That's what used to happen. I would do a budget. If you are retiring in 6 months' time, I will only budget for you for 6 months.
Okay, and you as the HR, how will you sit comfortably knowing that people who are actually working as casual workers and then they are not casual workers as per the law? How would you even sit comfortably and saying that this is something that we found and we are just waiting for somebody to come and show us that direction? Were you not the one to give an advisory as the HR head top in that hierarchy?
Chair, through the chair, actually, I have personally taken this issue of casuals to Chirac.
GIRAC, okay.
Yeah, I have personally had 3 meetings in the board requesting the board to take charge because it is their mandate.
Exactly, and that is where I'm going. Yes. Did the board take charge?
No.
No. So why were you saying that this is a systemic problem and no one is to be blamed?
And I would say no, because the board had challenges, because already you are dealing with people who have been there from 2017, which needed to be converted. To me, legally, these people, if they go to court today,
we will be in
win.
Problems.
And I have advised the county like that.
Okay, so you can say, and who is supposed to come up with these policies? You said the board.
Yes.
So the board has been, would you say that have they come up with a policy on people working as volunteers and casual workers yet?
No, I have never seen.
So they've not done their work?
Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable Kagimon.
Thank you, Chair. This issue, when Rotich is becoming, the issue of casual workers is becoming a problem in this county. Now, I just want to ask, during recruitment of these casual workers, what step do you take to ensure that there is transparency and fairness in this recruitment?
Chair, I have indicated that because casuals don't fall under HR, and it is the mandate of the board through the chief officers. Chief officers are supposed to be identifying the gaps, requesting for approval. So I have no role. I have never had any role with casuals completely. But in terms of P&P and contractual, I have participated.
So how did it come that even the lower parts, like the sub-counties, they can do those recruitment on your behalf, and you just watch them doing things that are not supposed to be done? Have you taken any action?
Chair, let me call it impunity. I have said it in Chirac. We have had discussions with Chirac where all chief officers are members. We've actually tried to sanitize these things to know exactly. Because you see, we had one challenge. If you today wake up and stop a casual who has been there for 10 years, that one outright, if they go to court, I'm aware, they will win and they will be made P&P. And that is why when we had a case the other day of the ones for municipality, what have we done? We have advised management that let us negotiate. Because they have gone to court. Let us withdraw this case from the court. Because the moment that case of municipality goes through, I assure you, time bomb, everybody will go to court.
Now, how does the county ensure that they prevent the issue of favorism, nepotism, and political influence in hiring of staff? Did you put some preventive measures?
Unfortunately, Chair, I have indicated that my role ends the moment I have delivered an indent. Nobody involves me in the other. Except the only thing I've been involved in was the one for for enforcement officers the other day, where we went, we had a meeting with the county board, with the board, county secretary, we deliberated, and that is why the 30 that were picked from each ward, it was a decision of that meeting that Kimbia, number 1, be given a letter. Now, the way they decided on the balance of 10, I don't know.
And are you aware, even in that process, there were some individuals who ran and disqualified themselves, and they were put as staff of this county. They were included in the recruitment list.
Well, I
Did
was
you
in
know
Marigat.
that?
I was in Marigat, working with the team that was in South. I can assure you, honorable member, that if there is something that I saw for the first time, that the poor child of Baringo could get a job, was through that process in South. I saw. They ran, we lined them according to the wards, and we did the balancing. Some areas where you have number 1 who is a male, and number 2 is a female, we had to do what we call balancing because of the aspects about gender, because we need a 30%, and the other aspects that the law requires us to.
Do you access that list?
Yes, we can access the list because I'm sure we did.
We want that list to be tabled here because we are aware in our ward there is one individual who disqualifies himself in the running and they were put in the list.
But
we are aware and we know the name, and when you table that list, we shall prove to the panel and to the service board. Now, let me go with my last question because I know some members have questions.
Honorable Lekakimon, on
Yes.
the issue of tabling the names, HR, are you able to table the names for Baringo South?
No, I can't table because it was a decision that was more than. In fact, the Baringo South was very funny. The population refused to go and say announce the names. When we had finished everything, they were announced, paraded, and a photo taken. So I know I can get the picture of the people who are picked. And even they came after the following day. They came here. I saw the same people.
So I wish we get that photo and that list for Baringo South because we know of individuals and it is in common knowledge that they disqualify themselves and they were recruited. They are in the list of employees.
Honorable
So,
Lekakimon, let
yes.
me rule over that. Kindly, HR, take the number of our clerk right now and forward the photo to him.
Yeah, look for the photo. I'll take it immediately.
Okay.
But I will need to because we took it.
So suppose we identify that individual who took number 108 and disqualify himself in the field, and it is among the list of those who are recruited as enforcement officers. Who will take the responsibility?
The board, because the chair of the board was present. I was present. We can have the list of the people who are present because I saw personally being people called from the line. So I can vote for South that if they went and changed, they changed it at the board. But at the
Honorable
time
Ayengo?
of
Yes, maybe I would like to request my colleague here, somebody will take responsibility so that we rest it because actually it was the most transparent way of recruiting them all over the county. Kama kuna kitu tutawapea ongera ni hiyo. So maybe this is a unique case. I want to maybe just one thing I forgot. There were officers who were recruited, 7 of them. Their term limit was 3 years contract. And then after the expiry of their term, some 3 were retained and 4 were left out without any letter. The ones who are left out, one is named Matthew Jerubet, a communications officer. Another one, Mary Chumba, a communications officer. Lucas Kipchirchir, an assistant office administrator. And Dennis Ruto, office administrator. What criteria was used to retain the 3 and to leave the 4 out?
Thank you, Chair. Through the Chair. Fortunately, among the 3, I'm one of them. Out of the 7, the director here was one of them. The law requires that when your contract is about to expire, you must apply. All of us applied because I know. Now, as to how the decision was made to retain Rotich and leave the others, I can't vouch for it because it was.
Who normally does it? Director HR ni mshangao mkubwa sana. Because hii imekuwa shamba la wanyama. More others are more equal than others. Even for this one, how can we explain to people of Baringo? How shall we explain to them that this one, they were retained because of Euro teach, and the other two were retained because of 1 or 2 or 3 reasons? This one were left out because of 1 or 2 or 3 reasons. What is it all about? Who does these things?
You see, the HR manual is very clear that your supervisor recommends your renewal of contract. Fortunately, all of us, apart from 2, the 2 others belong to the board, the legal and administrator. The other 5 belong to devolution. I would wish that that question is directed to the chief officer, the CEC, and the leadership of devolution. Because I've asked myself, I do renewal of contract every year. Every time the contracts, and I will provide a list of all people who have actually even requested that they be converted to P&P because of the 10 time they have spent in this county when we are recruiting. But the question I ask myself, which people should answer is, how comes devolution has problems? Other departments do not have problems with renewal of problem. That should be answered by the leadership.
Anyway, I know you are in charge of also recruitment and selection and the rest. You are part of this team. I don't know where you will place her. Who is to be blamed now here?
You know, they applied.
Who squarely takes the blame, and who will tell us what has happened in between?
It is between the office of the chief officer and the county secretary.
It has nothing to do with the service board.
The service board will renew a contract of somebody after being requested by the executive to do it. Like for mine, when they agreed, the CS wrote a letter to the board.
Honorable members,
Yeah.
let's allow Lega Kimol to finish completely.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think the HR has agreed to bring the pictures of those in the south, and the list. I think the
list will be provided by-
the county service board should to bring the list. Chair, I'm aware of a person that his name was nicked, but he was disqualified in the field, and it is in the list of recruitment, denying some of the people who ran and got good positions, and out of interest, or I don't know the name of the person that was not even in the race. He disqualified himself and was put in. So we want to see that list. And I'm happy that whoever sneaked the name should take the responsibility for that anomaly.
Chair, what I
Chair.
wanted to Chair, allow me to clarify only one thing, member. Remember, we were recruiting as per wards. What we will only require to see, first of all, is the 30 per each ward. Now, how the 10 were recruited later, I am not aware. Possibly then, if he was among the 10, because there were 40 positions, 30 was done on the ground. South 7, Eldama Ravine, I think it was 7, Mogotio 3, to make it 30 as per ward. The other 10, how they got it, I don't know.
I think we put it clearly as a panel that we want to see how the 10, the 40, how the 40 were recruited, because we wanted to see that openness on how they were recruited. But it is the 30 that we are talking about, the wards,
Yes.
is where we are now saying, you see, we are combining the clerks and the enforcers, and that is why it came to the attention of this House that we stopped the issue of the clerks and the enforcement officer, because we detected some fishy deals going on in those recruitments. Madam Chair, let me conclude by saying one question to the Human Resource Officer, that we have seen several officers appearing before the Chiracs on disciplinary cases. We have seen a number of people coming to you for complaints over recruitments, decisions. Now, are there mechanisms in place to allow individuals to do some appeals, to do some reports concerning the recruitment decisions, or it is not there?
I don't think we have any mechanism on complaints of recruitment. But complaints on issues of Chirac that possibly there was implemented.
I'm talking of appeals. In case there is an appeal, in case there is an issue that concerns the recruitment decisions that was made, do you have that mechanism or in place for individuals to hire their grievances over the decision made? Do you have those mechanisms?
We don't have, Chair.
Honorable Ngotie.
Okay. Mr. Rotich, I had about 3 questions, but I've seen I will not ask those questions because most of them deals with casual, and I don't want to strain you anymore about casual because you have categorically stated that you don't deal with casuals. But allow me to ask one question, that how is the documentation of recruitment decision handled and stored for accountability? Who leaks confidential information to the social media platforms?
Chair, I might not be able to answer the honorable member because I said my role ends at indent. I wait for the list, and that is my role. I initiate the process of absorbing staff into our systems. So the other ones, it is the what do you call this, public service board.
So sometimes your confidential things like the recruited staff, they don't leak.
You know, by the time it gets to us,
Yes.
at the executive, it is
Public.
It is public. Letters have been issued, and now we are waiting for them to, or we are told, these are the letters, call them to come and report.
Okay, that's my only question.
Honorable Sharon.